Godzilla! Released in 2014 and is directed by Gareth Edwards, who has directed such films like Monsters and Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. And this film is starring Aaron Taylor Johnson, Elizabeth Olsen, Ken Watanabe, Sally Hawkins, David Strathern, and Bryan Cranston. At least he was starring in it. Until he wasn't. And the reason why I've decided to review this film this week is because, well, this Friday comes the release of a pretty big versus film with Godzilla vs. Kong. And Warner Brothers is doing something awesome and releasing all of their brand new releases in theaters, but also on HBO Max the very same day. And I subscribe to HBO Max, so I'm like, you know what? I never get to do this. I never get to watch a film, a brand new film, just newly released, in the comfort of my own home, and be able to just go downstairs, record my review of it, and release it to everyone. I never get to do that. I go like later on in the weekend, or I go maybe a couple of weekends after it's released, just so all the crowds die down and I'm not shoulder to shoulder with people. So I never get to do this, and I thought, you know what? What's a better time to review all these films? I haven't actually seen the second Godzilla film. So if I'm going to watch that one, I should probably catch up and remind myself of what has happened in this whole Monsterverse universe thing. Yeah. We humans believe that we are the dominant species on this planet. Well, this film is gonna slap you in the face with a little bit of reality, because this planet actually belongs to the Titans, an ancient race of mythical beings that grew to be super huge, and have laid dormant on our planet for millions of years. Well, now since mankind has experimented with a bunch of nuclear explosions, these titans are awakening, and they are wreaking havoc over every single city they come encounter with. At least that's what the marketing of this movie wants you to believe that this movie is about. In all actuality, this is about a soldier who is taking care of his weird, sick, demented, and sometimes psychotic father, who is obsessed with finding these titans and killing them, and then trying to get back to his wife, who in another movie verse is his sister. I don't know what that says about you as an actor, if you have the type of chemistry with another actor to where on screen you could read, both of you could read as husband and wife, and also brother and sister. I don't know what that says about you. It probably means that there are some casting directors out there that have a very strange fetish on a couple of adult websites. But this is the rebirth of the legend Godzilla. Godzilla is a legendary movie monster that first appeared in the 50s, and I was actually shocked. I haven't seen a ton of Godzilla films. I've actually tried to go back and watch a couple of the ones from the 80s just to catch myself up on the history of Godzilla for these reviews. They're not doing me many favors. The first Godzilla film was in the 50s, which blew my mind. I thought it was 70s at earliest. This was right after World War II. And I even went back and watched the King Kong vs. Godzilla. That's right, before Godzilla vs. Kong ever happened on HBO Max, it happened back in the 60s. Oh, and boy is it special. Let's just say the bar for exceeding what has come before it is very, very low. I think that there's a good chance that it's gonna be a good film on Friday, regardless. But really, up until I saw this film, my only association with Godzilla was the 1999 New York City guilty movie pleasure Godzilla film starring Matthew Broderick. And I know that film is terrible. I actually reviewed it for this channel pretty early on. It's one of my favorite guilty movie pleasures, though. I remember having such a great time going to the theater. It was, my dad took all of us boys. We got the huge Godzilla popcorn bowls. I thought it was so much fun. Looking back on it now, it is terrible. I 100% agree with that. I can't help but smile, though, whenever I watch it. But that rendition of Godzilla tried to do it from, like, a scientific standpoint where it was an iguana who had genetic mutation due to radiation. Here, though, the concept of Godzilla is very reminiscent of the 50s, the 60s, and 70s Japanese versions of Godzilla. However, I remember a bunch of Japanese reviewers criticizing this movie because they said Godzilla was fat. Like, he needed to trim a couple of pounds. So, I mean, you can't win them all, I guess. And the parts that we actually get to see of Godzilla are what I was expecting from a Godzilla monster movie. We got the fire blue laser breath shooting out, we got the Mutos attacking, this thing is badass. badass when the monsters are going at it. Too bad the monsters went at it like in the last 15 minutes of the film. They meet up and we see the monsters a couple of times throughout the film, but it's always done from like a newsreel perspective, and someone gets clunked on the head or there's a blackout, and then all of a sudden the battle is done and the monsters have separated for some reason, because one monster is going this way and the other one is going to the ocean. And you, the audience, are sitting there like, what happened? I wanted to see the fight. They were fighting. Why did they stop? What? I don't know what the stylistic choice was behind that. What I'm guessing is that there wasn't that much budget that went into this movie because they were kind of testing the waters, and so they put it all in the last climactic battle, but all the battles leading up to it, they're like, hey, we only have so much budget up until like 2 minutes, and then we kind of just have to stop. So, battle, and then stop. Cool? No, not cool. Because when these monsters are not battling, we have to deal with just a bunch of human problems, which is just what I want to see in a monster movie. Let's focus on the humans. It's the same criticism that I have in the Transformers movie. A movie called Transformers. Awesome. Let's focus on the humans. You know, the people that don't transform. And that's what we do here, and really there's a curveball even thrown with the human side. Because this film starts out and we're following Bryan Cranston's journey. He is a scientist working in Japan, and the power plant shut down, it explodes or whatever, and the government is trying to cover it up. But he knows what he saw, and he knows what happened that day, and he wants to reveal the truth, even if no one believes him. Even his Quicksilver son. So he's trying to go back into the quarantine zone, and he finds out that there's no radiation there, again confirming that it's all a cover-up. And then all of a sudden, spoiler alert, I guess, for a film that is, 7 years old, and another part of the franchise is coming out. Spoiler if you don't want to hear what happens to Bryan Cranston in 3, 2, 1. Bryan Cranston just dies. We are following his journey and trying to get resolution and trying to get just some justice behind what happened to his wife. And then he falls, and he's in a helicopter telling his son to, go to your family. Your family's the most important thing. Treasure them. And then we go away for a couple of minutes, and then we come back and he's dead. He's being zipped up in a body bag. I don't understand it. One of the most dishonorable ways to get rid of a lead character in a movie that I have ever seen. And then we start following Aaron Taylor Johnson, who is his son, and he is a bomb expert. He can defuse bombs. That's what he does in the army, just defuses bombs. And we follow him the rest of the time. And I gotta tell ya, I sit back and I go, I don't care. Not that he's terrible in this film, or that Elizabeth Olsen is terrible in this film. Any of the humans are terrible. It's just, I don't care. I want to see Godzilla versus a monster. And in here, it's just kind of like, Godzilla appears, and he's gonna go and fight the monster. And Ken Watanabe is like, we're his pets, and he is our protector, so we must let them fight. Okay, cool, let's do that. I think the director forgot to do that, to let them fight until like the very end. And by that time, I'm just like, I don't care. There are some cool shots in here when the soldiers are parachuting down and they have the red smoke coming from their ankles, signaling where they're at in regards to other people who are also parachuting in. That was a cool shot, but it's all just dressing. I want it's just a generic destruction horror monster movie that, yeah, I guess it's satisfying in some way, but it's totally forgettable like 5 minutes after you watch it. I am happy though that it did well enough to where the Warner Brothers said, okay, we made enough money here, let's actually go forward with this whole Monsterverse thing. So if it should be celebrated, it should be for that, but everything else here, it's pretty generic. I'm gonna give Godzilla 2.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I found that if you have a goal, that you might not reach it. But if you don't have one, then you are never disappointed. And I gotta tell you, it feels phenomenal.
Alright, fun now, because my favorite part of my video, where I pick which movie I'm going to be watching next. No need to do the random generator of selecting a movie, because I know which one I'm going to be watching already. It's the second movie in this whole Monsterverse universe called Kong Skull Island. And from what I recall, I remember enjoying this movie a lot more than I liked this one. I actually saw it in IMAX 3D, which is my only IMAX 3D screening that I've ever watched, and Yeah, it was pretty impressive. So we'll check that out next time. If any of you have recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, you can leave a recommendation below this video, or go to my Facebook page, my Instagram, or my Twitter, leave your recommendation there, and if I have access to it, I will watch, review it, and give you a shout on the channel. And if you want me to do your recommendation as quickly as I possibly can and bypass the whole random generator that I have here, you can make a PayPal donation on the main page of my YouTube channel. Any size donation will do, just attach your movie with the donation, and if I have access to it, I will watch it and publish my review of it as quickly as I possibly can. So guys, have you seen Godzilla? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before, and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button, and make sure you hit that bell so you know the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of Kong Skull Island. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.